I didn't intend for this to turn into a hiatus, but things just happen sometimes. Hello, worldly crazy people out there. My name is Michael. I like wizards and dragons and making games. And welcome back to making games at long last. So I finished off 3D collisions in GameMaker. That was a whole big thing. Lots of fun. And now that I've got that off my plate, I think I can actually finally return to making a game using that 3D collision system. Long story short, I decided that instead of trying to make a game using it at the same time as developing it was just too much trouble, and that I would wait until it was finished before I continued trying to make a game with it. And now that we've done that, hopefully I will be more able to properly dedicate energy to making something with it. So today I'm going to deal with slopes. A few episodes ago, I almost said weeks, but I think that's being a little generous. I talked about doing slopes, and then I pseudo rage quit dealing with slopes because it was really just not working out, and I wanted to figure out a better way to do it. And I think that might have come across a little bit more ranty than I really should have, because I do like complaining, but it would be hard to make a whole game without slopes of any kind, whether that's actual slope terrain or stairs or anything like that. So I'm going to be back on that. And in particular, I'm going to be making use of the sphere displacement system that I spent some time working on towards the end, and I'm going to be using that not only to implement slopes, but also to just implement better collisions in general, because as it turns out, the way that I'm doing it now with basically the Sean Spalding collision code in 3D isn't the best way to do this, because it's a lot of code, it's got a lot of annoying literal edge cases, it's perhaps not the most efficient because we're doing potentially many collision checks per update. So today I'm going to be dealing with slopes. Can I move that to my hand? Hopefully at the same time I should be able to deal with this little problem when landing on something, allow the player to move to contact whatever they landed on exactly. Sphere displacement should make that somewhat easier. Jumping into the corner of a platform won't initiate climbing or will prevent you from going around it. We should be able to take care of that. I think I should also be able to take care of this at the same time, and probably this, although I might have to look a little bit closer at that one. So first, let me go delete the collision stuff folder. Let me re-import the final version of collision stuff, and that will this also includes, by the way, this is the version of my my little collision project that also includes all the optimizations, which makes the code look quite a bit more gross, but hopefully will cause it to perform a little bit better. That on its own is, I think, worthy of a commit. I have not used this 3D collision system in this project, or at least I haven't used the modern version of this 3D collision system in this project yet. I don't think there are going to be any important bugs that haven't been discovered yet, because I'm going to go out on a limb and say I did test it pretty thoroughly. But before I do anything else, I'm going to have to actually make one change to the way that it's initialized. At least I think I will. If I go into obj game, where is... Okay, so instead of saying new call world spatial hash or whatever, I'm going to say spatial hash is a new spatial hash. The chunk size can be, what was the chunk size? I think it was 100 or so. Honestly, that's probably, actually, that's probably a good size. And I've changed it so that the instead of hard coding the acceleration structure into the call world, you just pass it in as a parameter.
Hey.
And from there, you can swap in or out your acceleration structure as you see fit. So we should be able to, I think, run the game, and we should be able to not have anything blow up immediately. That's good. All right. Can still do all our previous collision things, climb, that sort of thing. All right. So good. Nothing broke immediately when I did the optimizations. What I'm going to, I think, start changing is, instead of doing all this 3 times for the X, Y, and Z axis, Where's gravity handled? Oh, gravity is probably in like the regular step event, isn't it? Yeah, instead of doing all that, I'm going to say our displaced position is going to be obj game obj game.collision.displace sphere. This is of course going to take a object representing a sphere with the like located at its new location. So let's say how's it go? Self c object dot shape dot set. And another change that I've made is that instead of setting the properties of shapes directly, like I have been doing, try to use the set method, because that will update any cached values so that they don't have to be calculated over and over in real time. New vector 3. It's this value, isn't it? All right. Actually, instead of having me write that out again, let's just say potential.add to our existing position. And then we can get the displaced position of the sphere object. I think that is potential movement for like if you're on a platform that's accelerating or ascending rather, or moving sideways or something like that. Oh, I should probably I totally should move that there. Actually, I'll come back to that. Anyway, so we're going to set our position to where we want to be. We're going to do a sphere displacement calculation. This will return either undefined if no sphere displacement is evaluated, or it will return the new vector 3 of where you should end up. So if displaced position is not equal to undefined, we can set the sphere to our displaced position. And everything after that, like, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of work to, like, have the player stop when they land on something, right? When they're grounded. Actually, I might not. I'll come back to that too. But aside from that, I can get rid of all of this. Maybe not all of it. And say, actually, yeah, I'll get rid of all of that. And then self x is going to be self dot c object shape position dot x, y, and z. Did I ever get around to giving the player like a height variable that's like how far off the ground the sphere is on that on the vertical axis? It doesn't look like I did. All right, I'll hardcode that for now, and probably at the end of the video I'll also unhardcode that too. Okay, so with that one change and about 20 or 30 lines of code fewer, we are getting stuck on this object, which is not really what I wanted to happen. Okay. I also did note that I like went through the moving platform too, which also isn't really what I wanted to happen. I have a feeling that if this is the problem, I'm going to have to update a little more code than I expected. Alright, there we go. So, I'm definitely going to need to hunt through this code for places where I'm setting object positions directly, because that is interfering with things. Okay. Let's see. If I were to, I seem to be having trouble, like, jumping when I'm, like, right here, too. Alright, I'll need to tighten that up one way or the other. Let's see. So now that I've gotten that figured out, where's player code is somewhere here, right? Handle movement, handle climbing. Can I comment out climbing and have it not break? Oh, I see. I'm still like hardcoding some like shape positions here, which have a feeling that whatever the problem is here is also going to be kind of a dumb issue. Is grounded. Also needs to use the set method to make sure any and all cache values are updated so that, okay, there we go. And I can climb again, and I can move backwards through walls, apparently. That's not great. I'll have to work on that. If I were to... Okay. That's gonna take some work. This would probably not be a bad time for me to go through the entire code and look for any and all instances of hard coding position vectors. So let me do that. But first, sphere displacement movement instead of what is this? I think like most of these fixes that I'm doing here boil down to basically that, right? So, all right, we're doing shape.set here. That's fun. There was another one over check moving objects over here. We can do that here, and that should probably fix the moving platform issue. There's this, which I will do the like proper way. Although, for what it's worth, there's no functional difference between setting the properties and then calling set on it, and just calling set on a new position vector, because it'll come out the same, but doing it like this feels a little more spaghetti, so I won't. And this is just a camera x2, y2, z2. That doesn't need a set. Let's try now. Doing a little bit more refactoring than I expected. So this is a... Alright, we're not handling collision platform, we're not handling moving platforms nicely. If I'm not, for one, I'm not adding like the potential movement here. I think I still have that commented out, right? But for two, I feel like I should be like sphere displacing myself out of the ground. Or out of the surface of the moving platform just for free, without even having to do the grounded check like that. Yeah, if I were to go back to that... Oh, this is backwards. That should be equals undefined. So if displaced position is undefined, then set your potential position. I feel like that should have been causing more problems than that. But, yeah, that's backwards. Alright. Alright, now I was ascending in the air with the platform briefly, and also like I don't have to do any dealing with the like check moving objects, because when the platform moves up, it just displaces my position up. That's good. Let's commit the rest of these. Gonna have to remember to do that. Now if I were to say, let's do the potential check moving objects thing. If I were to do this, I would sort of bump up and down on top of the moving platform, because we're already being displaced from it, and we're also having our Y speed added to it. which is a little, you know, messy. Oh no, it's actually not. I guess it's being calculated in an order that makes it so that I don't have to worry about that. However, when it comes to check moving objects, what is dot reference dot motion? Okay, as it turns out, that was pretty much exactly what I expected the motion variable to be. So this isn't needed for movement up and down in the air. This is only needed for translational motion. Can I go back to having a test, like test translating object in the world? So instead of saying, let's do the z-axis instead of the y-axis. That should have it go side to side. So you're going to go off in this direction, and I can ride on top of you, which is fun. I can also jump. All right, and I can get pushed. I also don't necessarily need the check moving object for getting pushed. Let me see if it pushes me backward when I'm not holding up on the arrow key, and if I'll get pushed instead of climbing. I do. Okay, that's good because you're only supposed to climb if you like move forward towards something and not if something moves forward towards you. Although I guess that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but I want the player to have that control, and if they just stand in front of something, it'll push them out of the way instead of having them climb up on it. That fortunately wasn't too bad. All right. Is there anything else I wanted to do for this? That was just that change. We uncommented check moving objects. That allows us to ride on things. I suspect, and I haven't tested this, and I don't think I'm going to test it, but I suspect that if I were to have a rotating object, I would be able to be pushed by the rotating object correctly just by virtue of the sphere displacement. But I would have to do a little bit of extra work to deal with the rotational motion if I'm standing on it. So for that reason, I think I don't really want to do that still. I might think about it later. Do I have my like my backlog or my would be nice, my maybe deck? All right, I added the rotating objects to the maybe deck. All right, that's been taken care of, right? I can check that off. Walking towards a moving object will cause you to clip through it. I'm pretty sure. All right, well, for one, that makes me climb on it because that has a climb thing on it. But if I disable the climb, I won't any longer clip through a moving object, right? I feel like that should be handled. So certainly not from the side, not from the front, not from the back either. All right, good. So I'm just jumping around the world trying to see how the system behaves under other circumstances, and it's kind of funny because I feel like some of the like that when you try and climb on an object that's descending and you end up a few pixels above it, that feels like how the first Potter game, the first PC Potter game, Philosopher's Stone, climbing on moving platforms felt a little bit like that, and I wonder if they well, I don't wonder, I know that they made it feel a lot better, like they smoothed it out a lot in Chamber of Secrets, which is the game that I'm trying to emulate here, but I just thought that's funny. Anyway, I did a bunch of jumping around on platforms. I tried to induce weird bugs. I tried to test some of the things that I'd marked as bugs, and nothing bad happened, aside from the little bit of awkwardness where like you climb on a descending platform and finish a little bit above it because it's moving down at the same time as you're going up. But I'm not going to count that as a bug right now. I can check that off. I can't jump next to the corner of a block for some reason. I can check that off. Can't move around on the top of the platform. I tested that. I can check that off. When landing on something, allow the player to move to contact whatever they hit. That's done. Player should be able to ascend slopes. I'm 99% sure that's done. Do I have a slope object that I can test with in here? Let's see. Wizard School. I did add a slope object. Okay, I added a slope object and what I called a bridge object. I don't remember if I did that on camera or not. I might have done that on my own, but let me make sure this is all exported. I have a shortcut. So we have slopes. Okay. We have slopes. That works correctly. I can barely go under there. There's like a pixel perfect margin where I can go under there. That's a little jittery. If I were to slide along the wall from this direction. Okay. That's definitely more jittery than I'd like it to be, but it works. If I jump here... Okay, if I jump here, I get stuck to the ceiling for a moment. I know why that is. And that's going to be basically the opposite of the floor problem. Okay, so can I move the bridge down a little bit? Like, -32, and move you only to, like, x equals 80 relative to the slope. Okay, so that's better. And we can indeed walk up the slope and onto the bridge. Okay, that's good. That's a bit of level design that I'm gonna have fun with. Like the jitter around the corner of the slope, that could easily be fixed by just not having corners like that in level design. I wouldn't mind fixing that by not having corners in level design. The last thing I think I'll change today is going to be that bug where if I hit my head on the ceiling, I like get stuck. What would be the best place? All right, I think I can say if self.y is less than... So if you didn't go as far up, if self.y is less than potential.y, so if you didn't get to move as far upwards as you wanted to, and if you are actually going up, if you're not going down, then set y speed equal to 0. I should probably comment that because I'm not going to remember what that's for, but let's just make sure that this is working. Let me set that back to 0 there. And let me just make sure that if I come over out this way... Huh. Okay, so that's not working. Why is that? Why is that, Oh, it's because of the plus 16. Stupid plus 16. That's the height of the player. There's a part of me that wants to have like an additional collision object on the player the same way that I have like checking for the player's feet. There we go. Alright, so we're no longer sticking to the ceiling. Like the same way that we have a collision object for the player's feet and that just like checks for where the player's head is. But alright, that's commented. Anything else I want to do today? I did say something about getting rid of all these plus 16 player height magic numbers, but I think I'll save that for later. Let's see, I think the next video is going to be general cleanup, so I'll do the delta time thing. I will get rid of the magic numbers. I guess I might as well make that a card too, huh? Although I don't think there's a... Should I... That's going to be... Actually, that'll be a high priority thing, but it'll be 1 effort point. And let's move that to the hand. I'll also do delta time or something. This wasn't in the hand. Walking directly into a moving block causes you to clip through it. I thought I said that one was finished already, but maybe I didn't. That one should be finished too. Basically everything here except for the Unity import. That's going to be, I think, like my milestone video for basic gameplay, basic player movement is going to be the Unity import and getting the Unity import shown off. I assigned that 8 effort points, which is maybe a little bit much because I already like did most of it. I'll be tweaking it as we go on to allow for, you know, fancier level editing properties, but the basic idea I've already done. And after that, it should be up to magic gameplay and all the spells that I co-opted from the Potter games. That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to working on that. I'm looking forward to working on most of these things, but especially that. So, my name is Michael. I like Wizards and Dragons and making games. If you want the code for this, look for the GitHub repository down in the video description. Am I doing the release thing? I am doing the release thing. So look for the 0.18 release. That'll be what we did in this video. If you want to play around with the 3D collision system, I'll have a link to that itch.io page in the description as well. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you all later. Special thanks to Army Armbuster, DJ Gibbles, Edward Holt, GameMaker, Manta Ray, Syndra Larson, Squarecrow, Vitro V, and Zenjament for supporting these videos. If you want to contribute to the channel, head on over to the Patreon page down in the video description to join the fun.